What up, everybody? What up, everybody? It's your old buddy Josh. I'm not spicy. I'm not spicy. Not at all. So, am I singing? No, I'm just going to share some good news that people like to hear good news. So, if you put good news on there, Andrew, people don't watch. So, you always say, you're not going to like this. I'm going to share some good news. My man Drew in the house. Maybe some Steel Heart. I was just actually listening to that album. I hadn't heard the whole album. I only heard a couple songs from that album. That Steel Heart. I can't remember the name of the album was. The first one. It's actually pretty good. A lot of it sounds like old Motley Crue from like the early '80s Motley Crue, which is Too Fast for Love. That's a freaking kick-ass album. Top to bottom, Too Fast for Love is kick-ass album. And other than that ballad, I'll Never Let You Go, which is a great song by Steelheart, that album's pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. I just never listened to the whole thing. Marie says 1 year and 3 days, so I'm on Medicare. Is that good or bad? I mean, is your current stuff pretty good, Marie? I don't know. You didn't like this live stream. Yeah, you shouldn't like this live stream. John Lyons is in the house. James T. Ted is in here. Ted calls us friends. How dare you, Ted? You don't know us. You don't know us. Ted, you don't know who we are. Hey, I'm on time. Hello from one vet to another. Right on, Tony. Tony Moseri. Are you not proud of me? What branch are you in, Tony? What branch? Let me guess. The Navy. Tony's in the Navy. You know why? Because Tony. Remember that stupid band, Tony? Tony with an I. Tony writes his name Toni with a heart above the I instead of a dot. I'm Tony. Kind of like I knew it, Navy. Kind of like Tupac Shakur. Have you ever seen those where he auditioned to be I don't know, some freaking dude? The dude is as let's put it this way, as fruity as a day is long, man. Tony was in a good group. I don't think so. I never heard of them. I mean, I've heard of them, but I'd never listened to them unless it's forced under the threat of death, because I would never be caught listening to Tony, and I certainly never posted on the live stream for anyone to read about, because that would just make you a Navy veteran. What branch are you in, John? I can't. John, what branch are you in? Let me guess. Air Force. John's like eating freaking crab legs and caviar right now. U.S. Joey Torres. Right on. Yeah, Air Force. Holy crap, dude. I knew it. John's like, wait, let me dust off my crab legs and caviar. There's Joey Torres, U.S. George Washington. And Joey Torres still doesn't have a wife, if you know what I'm saying, right, Joey? You don't have a wife, Joey, right? Right? Feels Good was their big hit, bunch of 57 flavors dudes. With Tony. I thought it was chicks. I think I have some steak sauce on my lips. Yeah, you're right. I do. Thanks, man. I do. It's actually ice cream. 9 years, never stepped foot on a metal ship. Good. Never stepped foot on a metal ship. Don't hate the Navy. They have some hot ladies in the force. Right, because they can put the ladies in the force because the guys aren't going to hit on them. The guy's like, hey, we're the Navy. 26 years in love. Right on. Wooden ships, iron men. That's a Navy joke, which I'm not following you. But the fact you're married 26 years, you're all right by me, Joe. I bet you're my age. I'm 55, Joey. I bet you're 55 as well. Let's see, you were 91 to 95. I bet you're 53. 52. I bet you're 52 years old. Tell me that's not right. Minesweep Sailor. Diane Sample is as hot as you want to make her, Drew. Hot as you want to make her. She's all AI. So if you want your Asian chick, Diane Sample could be Asian. If you want your friggin' Swedish or whatever it is, she can be Swedish. You can, whatever you want, brother. There's no stopping AI. 39 years and going strong, man. My dad was on Twitter watching the Trump Putin thing yesterday. He was stationed there in 45. My wife's dad was stationed in Fairbanks in the 50s. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, we got Mike right there. All right. Like how Mike put the TM next to the CFP. Right on, man. I don't know, Mike. Good to see you. That's my wife's age, a cougar. So wait, if she's 52, no. Wait, you're saying she's 55 or 52? I said you're 52, so I gotta. Yeah, I do. Yeah, 52. Right on. Yeah, 100%, dude. Lock those freaking suckers down. I'm telling you, we need to get a Pinochet in here. That's what we need. And if Trump wants to go full Augusto Pinochet, the goat, or freaking Franco, even a little bit Mussolini, hey man, do it. Let's get this party started, man. I'm sick of these freaking red guards. The red people don't know the history of the red, the Reds. They're evil and they don't stop, man. Just because we've been able to sweep it under the rug for so many years, the Reds they're no joke. And we got to lock them suckers down. Go Fujimori and freaking Peru. I'm all about it. Freaking lock these people up and throw away the key. I would, the gallows, frankly, is bring back the gallows, and you'll quickly find, oh, okay, you guys, all these rich spoiled brats, you think you're all that in a bag of chips. Wait till the gallows come back. Oh, that sounds mean, dude. When you're dealing with the Red Guards, there's only one way to beat them back. It's not to be a moderate squish. Is to freaking use force and show, hey, we're serious. Because the right is always since the World War II, the right has been so scared of their own shadow. They're like, oh, we can't, we don't want to be called Nazis and fascists. Screw all that, dude. Those days are long gone. No one should care about that anymore. You say, oh my gosh, not call me a Nazi. Oh wow, you've only called everybody a Nazi since freaking Adlai Stevenson, for heaven's sake. So it's just like, if they're gonna call you anyway, you might as well freaking kick them to the corner. That's what I say. Freaking pound these guys down, 100%. I'm all about it. Well, but don't you know the same thing could happen to you? Dude, what happened during COVID? Did the same thing basically not happen to us? This is the thing that pisses me off. You're like, well, once they get their power back, they're going to do the same to you. I'm like, where were you 2020? Where were you? What? Hey. My man Steven says, spent afternoon American Legion folks at their annual August clan day in Milford, PA. That sounds pretty good. Here to hate my stream. As you should, John, as you should. She's 55. Gotcha. Yeah, look at that. Original 6 frigates of the U.S. Navy were constructed with live oak from Simon Island, Georgia. Right on. We got Carl in the house. Right on. MSM talking about Trump didn't resolve everything from the meeting. Are they seriously that? Yes, they're not just that stupid. They're that. Come on, Josh Mussolini. Right on, Steven. Yeah, we'll see you, man. Right on. Yeah, Trump didn't solve cancer. Oh my goodness. Now lawfare is apparently bad. 100%. Isn't that crazy? Fairbanks. The left using that Nazi word is getting less. I don't think it has any Republican who scatters in fear because of being called the Nazis. It's just, nothing. Were there changes to Social Security executive order that Trump signed this week? Man, I have no idea. Good question. I don't know. We got Greed Whitlock on X. Right on, man. B205 was cool. Yeah, man. 100%. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know, Drew, but if you find something, let me know. I'd like to report on that for sure. I haven't seen anything. The executive order. I know Epic Times had written a couple of things about Social Security. I think what they're doing is they're increasing the amount of things disabilities you can qualify. They'll make it fast tracked. So if you have this, that, and the other kind of issue, you'll get your Social Security disability fast tracked, if that makes sense. I reviewed your. No, I wasn't working when I was never working at USA doing these videos. I'll tell you that right now. USA wouldn't. I mean, hell, the reason I had to quit USA ultimately was I actually posted something on LinkedIn about the value of a Roth IRA, and they got all squishy on me and said, "Oh, you got to get that approved for compliance." Blah blah blah. So it was just a basic thing on LinkedIn saying this was the benefit of Roth IRA, and they said, "Oh, it's got to be approved for compliance." I said, "Okay." Took 3 weeks for compliance to say no, that's not approved. I was like, what? I was like, this is crazy. I said, this is freaking crazy. I said, no, it's too I forgot what it was. I was like, you guys, and I'm never gonna. And I remember I went to my boss, said, because they said we need you, because basically what they want us to do is they wanted us to be more engaged with potential clients. And one of the ways you can be more engaged was post stuff, and not just the corporate tripe that's out there all the time, but just post stuff with personality. And I had nothing to do with like you should buy VTI or anything like that. It's just here's some of the benefits of Roth IRA, just front and center. And it's like, no. Anyway, and so I said to my boss, I said, well, you guys tell me you want to be put stuff, and I post stuff. It took 3 weeks. And I got dinged first and foremost. Then I got 3 weeks before it was denied anyway. So I said, he goes, I'll just do it again. It was supposed to be a 2-day turnaround time. Never was a 2-day turnaround time. And I said, this is ridiculous. And that's where I said, if I want to have some personality and tell the truth like it is, and I recognize working for a firm, I get it. They got to police up with a bunch of idiots out there. I 100% get that. But this was done to idiotic piece. It wasn't like an article. Just said, here's some benefits of the Roth, tax-free growth, no RMDs, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so this is ridiculous. And I said, these guys, corporate America just sucks donkey balls. Anyway, but definitely wasn't working at USA with doing that. Let's see. Right. Yeah, I got an email from somebody, Miguel, who talked about covered call ETFs. Hey, man, I'd never say they don't work. I got burned by them. I'm just saying, wait till the market goes down in a consistent amount, and let's see how you feel there. Now, look, at the end of the day, can it work? Sure. I'd never say it can't. No problem at all. But we haven't had a consistent down market since 2007, 8, 9. It's been 15 years, 17, 18 years now. And just wait till you have a trajectory going south for a number of years. That will be it won't be as easy to deal with in that regard as it is now. But hey, if we don't have more power to, I literally don't care. But having seen my own stuff blow up in my face, I said, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, so I want to show you something here. I thought this was pretty interesting. I posted on my various socials. You know how people say, oh, my goodness, America sucks. We are just so bad. No one can afford anything anymore, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought this was pretty interesting. So let's see right here. The American food spending as percentage of your income is right here versus calorie consumption. This goes back to 1900. All right, so just make sure y'all can see that. Yeah. So going back to 1900, we spent of our income, 42.5% of our income was spent on food consumption. The average American back then was only consuming 2,900 calories a day. All right, fast forward till today, till 2020, we spend 9.5% of our income on food consumption, and the average American is consuming 4,000 calories a day. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big increase, or in calorie consumption, why we're fat, and also spending. And the funny thing is, this food, 9.5% of food consumption, a significant amount of that is food away from home, i.e., going to restaurants and eating out and things of that nature. Not that you're making it yourself. So we were hardly ever eating out right here because we couldn't afford it. All right, and as such, we had low calorie intake. We're eating out a lot now because we can afford it because food's so damn cheap, and we're consuming more calories. I just find this very interesting. When people say, "Oh my goodness, it was way better back in the old days when we couldn't afford food." 45% of our income was spent on food. 9% of it is. No one was eating out back then. We're eating out all the time. We just got some pizza, as a matter of fact. How dare I? Who has 1%? Most food, exactly. No one needs 4,000 calories. No one does. That's a crazy thing. That's a crazy thing. I've been lowering down to 1,200 calories a day. Dude, that's like you're getting on Eisenhower's starving German POWs territory. He's giving them like 900 calories a day. Crazy. Easiest way to thin your wallet and thicken your face line, eat out. Exactly. 1,600 calories max for me a day. I'm down 20 pounds. Yeah, 1,200 calories is, man, that's not gonna make you feel good. That's you're gonna be hangry all the time. Food also became more calorie dense. Crappy food is pretty cheap. 100%. I completely agree. Absolutely. What would I recommend instead of using covered calls if you're looking for regular income and some growth in? I don't know. That's if I'm looking for regular income, I'm literally looking at preferred stocks. Preferred stocks give you nice regular income for sure. Qualified dividends too, by the way. So I'm a big fan of preferred stocks. Probably not going to get much growth in them, but then you separate your other portfolio with because covered calls, the growth strategy on covered calls. I just think people forget the problem with covered calls is you're giving yourself upside limits, and that's literally what it is. You're limiting your growth. And remember, the nice thing about the markets, a naked strategy without a call option that you have to get your shares called from you is exponential growth potential. That's what makes the market so great, because the growth can go to a million, trillion, billions, infinity potential, where the downside is just down to zero. So, I mean, I like preferred stock. I don't own any, but if I'm looking for income, I think preferred stocks are a pretty good opportunity there. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. Will the redirection from government spending and employment to new and more private sector spending and employment make things better for Americans? Will the redirection from government spending and employment to new and more okay, I got you, more private sector spending? Yeah, I don't know if we're redirecting government spending, i.e., I don't think we're reducing government spending at all, if that's what you're saying. But I mean, we're redirecting government employees for sure. That's what I hope. I mean, I don't think we're going to be redirecting that much to new and more private sector spending and employment make things better for Americans. Yeah, I mean, anytime you're reducing the size of government, you're reducing the number of people that are on the teat, if that makes sense. But they're not reducing their spending; they're just reducing it. They're just hopefully reducing the size of government, i.e., with headcount. At the end of the day, the problem with government, this is basically bordering on fascism here, and I don't mean the freaking jackbooted thud fascists. And the idea that freaking Hitler's a fascist, give me a break, dude. National Socialism, and come on. Anyway, I'm talking about real fascism, which is the government dictates, private business says, yes, sir. That's what they do. And so, picking winners is always a concern. With be it Trump or Biden, it always concerns me when the government gets involved in picking winners. But they're going to do it. And so as long as the government's going to do it, we want them to pick the winners that are going to make America great, which is nuclear energy, getting off electric vehicle mandates, this kind of thing. Manufacturing, increasing manufacturing, steel capacity, things of that nature. 100%. Semiconductors, magnets, these shipbuilding. I mean, if government's going to get involved, at least let them get involved in things that make America run. Steel, shipbuilding, these things, right, for sure. Roads, all that stuff makes sense. But I don't think at the end of the day, government spending is being reduced, not the least. We don't see it, and as such, hopefully government employment will drop. But we're talking just a drop in the bucket for sure. Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, maybe Trump, when he gets his third term, can change it. Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be hard. That's the thing about those diets; it's very hard to maintain. Exactly. So what happens though is I don't eat breakfast, and I'm not hungry at all until about 11. Literally, I don't eat any breakfast. I don't have any desire for it whatsoever, and I used to, and I just don't. I'm like, 11 o'clock comes, I get a little bit hungry, but other than that, and that because I haven't eaten breakfast. Well, when I was in Ranger School, I remember, by the way, your stomach shrinks so much while you're hungry because you don't eat anything there, so you're always hungry, but your stomach shrinks so much you're not like craving meals at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know what I'm saying? And for the record, I never passed Ranger School. I was there for 3 months and only made it halfway through. So just as I always got to say, but your stomach shrinks. It just does. And so even if you eat a big meal, you can't hold it down. You just puke it up, as I can attest to. So once you get your stomach kind of shrunken, you just don't crave as much. I have no desire for breakfast at all, and I drink coffee in the morning, but no desire for breakfast, which is pretty cool. Now I eat bacon and eggs for lunch. That's what I usually eat for lunch. If I have some leftovers, I'll eat some leftovers, but no desire whatsoever. And generally, I try to. It's basically a bastardized form of intermittent fasting. I try not to eat anything after 7 o'clock. Hopefully, and that's like junk food and all that. I try to, basically I eat from 11 to 7. I pretty much eat whatever I want. I do hit the treadmill. I do, walk 4 miles a day, 5 days a week. And then, let's see, like today I was at the gym. So today I did weight training. I walked like 1.5 miles. Tomorrow I'll hit the treadmill. I walk 4 or 5 miles. So basically, weight training, walk, weight training. So every third day I'm in weight training. And the other 2 days I do treadmill stuff. But anyway, I have none whatsoever for breakfast. I do crave sweets, not gonna lie to you, and that'd be tough for me because I'm addicted to sweets like crazy. But if you just try intermittent fasting and stuff, and you can pretty much eat what you want, except you still got to get exercise. I think a lot of people do intermittent fasting, think it's this magic bullet. Well, nah, you still got to get exercise. You still got to burn some calories for sure. Um, uh, this week I took your advice, Josh. What? Oh boy, that sounds good. That sounds creepy. That sounds creepy. What'd you do? I stopped playing the game because, hey, right on, man. So, well, what'd you do, man? Hey, Brian. For an active 50-year-old, calorie intake to maintain weight typically ranges from 24 to 28 to 2,000, 2,200 per minute. Hey, Marie, what are you doing? Give me $20. What are you doing? Braintree, Mass, just limited to Texas in the Little League World Series. Oh man, yeah, dude, I do 100%, man. I crave carbs too. Hey, why'd you give me $20, man? I appreciate it. Thank you. Harry says he has to work to stay at 175 pounds because he knows his wife will leave him. Where did you do Ranger School? My brother-in-law said he did it in 5. So basically, back when I was in there, you had four sections. I can't remember. First one was Fort Benning. The second one was up here in Dahlonega, Georgia. The third one was the Florida Swamps, and the fourth one was in Utah. I never made it to Florida, so I got recycled out the first time in Benning. I didn't even make it a mountain. The second and third time, I didn't make it past mountain phase up here in Dahlonega. And so I think after the fourth time, I can't remember what it was, but I started as my class initial was 9-90, and I think it was 1290 where I finally said, dude, I'm done. I said, I'm not done with this. I'm not, I was a lack of motivation is what they call it, an LOM. And I said, yep. And he goes, if you do it, you'll never come back in. I said, dude, I'm done. I've had 4 months down here or something like this. And I'm sick of this crap. I was never gung ho to begin with. I didn't really care, but I said, that'd be something interesting to see if I can do. And I did, 3 months of it. Went down there in June. Yeah, June, and came out in September. So, 4 months. By the way, yeah, so the Florida Swamps, but I think they got rid of the Utah phase now. And I think the phases, phase, what we call the 4 phases. I think the phases are smaller, like shorter, I think. I don't know. I don't really pay much mind, but yep, 16-hour fasting, 8-hour feeding window. Yep, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree, Stephen. Only way government shrinks when in relation to how much bigger the private sector gets. 100%. No, well, I could not agree more. The government's not shrinking. There's just too many people, and Republicans too, who are just relying on it for sure. So, all right. There's Jeff. Nothing better than early morning walk in the summer, dude. I love early mornings, man. Especially the fall. The fall's where it's good. Trying to lower blood pressure. Take some red yeast pills, man. Red yeast pills. Oh, I thought you were asking me that. If you're trying to lower blood pressure, take some red yeast for sure. Get ready. All right. So let's see here. My spending was under budget this month. Hey, right on, Maria. That's fantastic. So they give me $20. Hey, I appreciate that. I'll go for who am I going to root for? Georgia or Auburn? Who's ever got the most white guys? That's racist. Yeah, I don't care. Whoever got the most white guys. I think Georgia still. I think they got that guy. 32 is a white running back, like an H back. So whoever's got the most white guys, and Auburn typically doesn't have many, so I'll go for Georgia. I think Kirby Smart has a soft spot for underdeveloped white guys, like that guy Jackson who played free safety for him last year. That guy was freaking crushing. They got a couple guys that walked on. Did Brock Bowers walk on? I don't think Brock Bowers walked on, but they've had a number. And they had a bunch of white receivers and stuff. It's like, dude, totally. So I think Kirby Smart's got a soft spot for not developed, under recruited white guys, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So whoever's got the most white guys, how dare you, Josh? I don't care, dude. It's the way I root football. I wish I didn't. I wish I wasn't like that. But I've always been like this. I used to root for the Celtics or the Lakers over the Celtics because the Celtics had the black guys. Back in the old times, you used to always root for the teams with a black quarterback. James Harris, Doug Williams, love Doug Williams, Vince Evans, love these guys. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't know, I did a 180-degree change. I wish I wasn't like that, but when you're raised by hippie liberal parents, you see everything in black and white. And then when you're white guys, say, hey, white guys been, we've been on the short end of the stick for many years now, so whatever. But that's racist. Whatever. Box breathing. What the hell is that? I've averaged 9,000 steps over the last year. Yeah, Marie's lost a crap ton of weight too, man. Absolutely. I take cod liver oil pills regularly, plus just vitamins. Cod liver oil pills. Yeah, dude, Iowa. I'm definitely my team right there. Yeah, and on top of that, they're Big Ten. I'm a huge Iowa fan for sure. Wisconsin too, but it's awful hard to root for Wisconsin because Madison's so liberal. But Wisconsin usually have a bunch of whiteys too, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I remember when they had Arkansas used to back. Arkansas. LSU did a couple, about 20 years ago. Remember that Jacob Hester and stuff like that at LSU. Anyway, our team, we won our high school, not the one in our town, not the one my kids go to. Actually, I got to turn this off. But there were two high schools in my town. Milton High School and Cambridge. My kids go to Cambridge, but Milton High School basically was a national champion in high school football last year. Brandon Jacobs' son went there. I think he's at Clemson now. Just a bunch of, they got the quarterback, I think freshman down in Miami went to Miami, who my kids were actually in school with back in elementary school. So they had a pretty good team. They played Buford last night. Buford 2 nights ago, just had a $62 million stadium built for them in Gwinnett County, Buford High School. And Buford just beat Milton last 2 nights ago. So interesting. But the point being is this: the high school football in the South is huge, and Georgia and all these Southern schools get all these recruits from all over. Like literally my backyard right there. It's crazy. Tim Lester used to play here, not play here, but his 2 sons went to school here at Milton. Brandon Jacobs. I mean, just a bunch of guys. It was crazy. I diversified my stock portfolio. I'm still mostly in equities, but spread out in other sectors. Yeah, right. You got it right on, John. 2 years of cash to protect against any sequence of risk. I'm not sure what AFT means, but go Big Blue, except when they play Notre Dame. Went down to the plains of Alabama for the Penn State versus Auburn game. It is a nice campus, man. Really, it is. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit I'm starting to get a little bit over football, but I'm looking for the Falcons this year. I'd like to see how Penix does. I like Michael Penix. I like Cam Ward. Can't lie. Cam Ward is a freaking legend. I'm hoping the Tennessee Titans do well. Yeah, I like these guys. I still got a soft spot for black quarterbacks because I hate the what the idiots were saying. Lamar Jackson's the only authentic black quarterback to ever do much. And I was like, dude, you know what Doug Williams had to go through, you freaking scumbags? Doug Williams was the man. And this was before he joined the Redskins. This was on, he had to go to Grambling. He went to Tampa Bay and he took the Bucs the NFC Championship. You know what I'm saying? And they're just 3 years out of going defeated. And, they were 0-26 or something like that at one point, or something like that. Anyway, so Doug Williams took the NFC Championship. And Warren Moon, yeah, absolutely. Warren Moon, 100%, man. And, it's just these guys are freaking legends. Anyway, the point being is, it's like you're telling me Doug Williams was an authentic, you freaking clowns. NFL melts, dude. That's so evil, man. That is so evil. It's not the male cheerleaders. That doesn't bother me when they're just holding those pretty girls up like this. Those guys are stout. It's the freaking male cheerleaders acting like they're chicks. I mean, anyway, the idea that Lamar Jackson is authentic and Doug Williams is not. I was like, you guys just suck. Yeah. Anyway, so a couple of things I want to share with you here. I thought this was pretty interesting too. I like Lamar. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just hate the guys that like Lamar. I like Lamar, but I hate the guys who like him because they just bother me. You know what I'm saying? It's like the guys who love Shedeur Sanders. I don't have a problem with Shedeur Sanders, none whatsoever. I think he's way too cocky he hasn't done anything, but I don't have any problem with him. I just really don't care. But the people who like Shedeur, I can't stand. Anyway, so right here, this is pretty interesting, I thought. Average U.S. home size versus income spent on housing. All right, so you can see this is the average U.S. home size right there. And you can see, it doesn't give me the thing, but you can see right here is about 1,000 square foot in 1900. And now it's at 2,250 square feet in 2022 or 23, excuse me. So you can see the average square foot has more than doubled since over the last 125 years. Now, how much we actually spend on housing has gone from 23% all the way up to 31%. So not a huge increase, relatively speaking, but still, we're spending more on housing than we ever did because the houses are getting bigger. Now, this is just as of 2023. You can see that big jump right there. But it's even that's only from 28% to 31%. I just find that very interesting. People griping about houses, and I completely get it. But that the size of the houses are going way through the roof. Now, the interesting thing is, let me do this. 1 second. Watch this. 1 second. Average. Oops. Size in America since 1900. Oh, it's raining out. What the hell? So we're going to do something with Claude here. Anyway, so we see that the average house size is going up significantly. The cost of the housing that we spend has gone up, but not significantly for sure. Watch this. Sanders will be like Johnny Manziel, a bust. One guy was saying he'd be like, who was Whitlock saying Sanders would be? What's the guy's name from Missouri? Chase Daniels. He said he'll probably be like Chase Daniels. Not a bad quarterback, but just nothing, great. All right, so check this out. Hold on just a second. We're going to show you right here. So this is the average family size. All right, the average family size in 1900 was 4.6 people. The average family size now is 3.15 people. So the house has gone, size of the house has gone up. The family size has gone down. I'm just sitting there thinking, I guarantee if you set your sights on smaller houses, you could be more affordable to you. I guarantee. But it's like everyone wants a 4-bed, 3-bath house when they just graduated from college. And I just like, you can't. Let's see. Mike says, hey, Josh, is the passive income lower for VTI and BND versus comparable Vanguard open-end funds? I would think it's probably going to be actually, it just depends on how much the basis points they charge. I would imagine the ETF is a little bit cheaper than the mutual funds, by like 1 or 2 basis points. So I think it'd actually be higher for VTI and BND than the mutual funds themselves. But we're talking literally pennies. I wouldn't worry about it. All right, so something else. I thought that was pretty interesting. So something else I wanted to. I was comparing ChatGPT versus Claude. My brother likes ChatGPT a lot. Claude I like a lot. So now I want to go over here. This is what I was going to say. You guys are going to get mad at. Josh, you make me so mad. All right, hold on just a second. Right here. And Marie, because you were here, and Cal, because you guys are here the other day, this will be old hat to you because we talked about this in the live stream that we had for Locals channel on Wednesday. But I think it's interesting. Hopefully I can bring this up. Hold on just a second. Is it profitable for contractors to build smaller houses? I would think it would be if they could build more, Marie. If you're going to develop things, I think it would be. I think at some point, essentially, the economies of scale. Once you hit a certain size of the house, I can't imagine it's that much more expensive to build. But I don't know. I'm not a contractor. You drinking a gallon of water daily to flush out sodium and lose bloat, starting super hydration Monday. I don't know. I drink a lot of water, man. No builders are building smaller houses, though. Yeah, so then maybe Andrew can answer your question, Marie, about is it profitable to build smaller houses? Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So anyway, let's see if I can't share this. Our new development near me is building 16 to 1,800 square feet and charging $800,000. Damn. Where's that hasty contemplation? Don't be hasty in your contemplation, by the way. Give us a well thought analysis. You don't have to tell me your zip. You don't have to tell me your city. Yeah, dude. It's funny you said that, Ted. I was just talking to my wife and Liam about this. I haven't found any errors with ChatGPT because I've only used it one time. But Grok and Claude both had significant errors on many things. It's like, dude, this is crazy to me, man. It's like they're probably good. I know Claude is great if you tell them what you want to do. You know, like making a graph or a chart or something. That's fantastic. I freaking love it. But in terms of identifying information for you that they deem correct, I don't think so. I don't trust it at all. Not at all. Southern Ohio. Okay, gotcha. Southern Ohio. Yeah, homes have been dropping a little bit. Yeah, 100%. Trying to get a custom builder to build a 2-bedroom, 2-house. They don't want to contract for it. Interesting. They don't want the contract for it. All right. So anyway, let's see if I can't bring this up. Let me do it. Let me do it. There. Oh man, not gonna let me do it. 1 second. Slides and PDFs. Let's see. What the hell's that? A screenshot. Hold on a second. Oops, keep doing that. I don't know what's gonna. Why can't I show the freaking PDF? Dag nabbit. Google Slides. Add file from my computer. Can I do that? Oh, PDF. All right, cool. Upload file. Let's see if this works, everybody. Let's see if this works. Downloads. That'd be sweet if it did. Oh, right there. Nice. Look at that. Your old buddy Josh on the fly. Grok failed to include coal adjustments. Man, that's crazy. That's not good. Screw Grok. Grok, you suck. There you go. The lizard people from the moon. I think I'm sure most of them lose money. Penelope, I just wonder how he had validate 97% lose money. I mean, how would he know that? I don't know if we can see if I can't share this. Slides and PDFs from my computer. Upload a file. It might kick me off again, and then guess he won't share it. But if not, then I'll show you a couple things. We're gonna go right there. Hit this guy right here. Let's see what happens. It's processing. Let's see. It's going to make me go dark. Hang tight. Tightly hang. Hang tight. Processing will make me go dark. What's the prediction? Hey, oh, is it working? No way. Hey, yeah, it's cool. All right, sweet. This is a fun thing to look at. Unless you're a Navy guy. If you're on the Navy, we're in the Navy. All right, so I want to share with you. Hi, Finnegan. Oops. I want to look at this guy. What happened to it? There we go. Hang tight, amigos. Right there. All right, so let's make this a little bit bigger if I can. Can I make it bigger? Right there. Oops. Oh man, just screwed that up. Oh boy, this is just rookie league stuff here today, boys. Rookie league stuff. Hold on just a second. Let me get it up again. Let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. Let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. Let's get it up. All right. I don't know if I can make it bigger here. Slide 1. This might be hard for y'all to see. Yeah, very interesting. So this is 100 years of consumer spending data for the nation, New York, and Boston. We're just going to look at the nation. New York and Boston suck, so who cares? But it just goes back to 1901. It's that bigger. Let's see. Remove full screen layout. Sometimes I hit full screen layout. Let's see what happens. That didn't really make it bigger, did it? Exit full screen layout. Okay. Now you can see my big ugly. Let's see. Let's go to slide 2. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to see. Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, I'm just gonna share a couple things with you here because it's very, very interesting. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get rid of this and I'll just share what I got. Oh man. Let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. Let's get it up. Isn't that like Kiss or something like that? Did Grok ban itself recently? Yes, they did because they were spouting Nazi stuff. Grok just canceled me for my harsh words. All right, so check this out. I just want to show you something here. And it's going to be hard to see, so you're just going to have to let me. I wonder if I could do. Hold on a second. Let me try something else here. Do that. What if I could do try something else? I don't have it up there anymore. Oh, man. Yeah, right there. There it is. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is see if I can't share with you guys a couple charts right here. I wonder if this will let me do this. Oops. Ow. There you go. Okay. Let's see if I can't show this. It might be a little bit better. Let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. There we go. Let's see if we can't show this. Right there. Hit that guy right there. All right. Let's see what we come up with. If I can do this. Bow, 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 bow. We're going to come over here. And if I can get this out right there. And we're going to come over here. Take a screenshot and share. So I'm trying to do image file. Let's see if that works. And recent desktop right there. Let's see if that works. Tom. Hey, look at that. Nice. The new Mountain Dew Baja Blast is fire. Tastes like that old school soda fresca. It's got to be crazy freaking sugar, right? Anyway, well, I thought this was very interesting. As you can see in this chart right here, you'll notice this is from 1901. All right, so you're going to see, I can't hardly even see that myself. I'm looking at it right here. So you can see household expenditures are right here. Average household income is right here. So these don't really say much. But expenditure share of non-necessities, look at that. 22% of your income was spent on non-necessities, which means 78% of your income was spent on necessities. I'll show you what necessities are here in just a second. White population way up here, all right? White population right there. Women in the workforce way down here, and average family size. All right, so you can see what's going on. Large average family size, few ladies in the workforce, all whites, and we weren't spending much on anything other than our necessities. Isn't that very interesting? All right, I think that's pretty interesting, and as you should too. So that was in 1901. That's 1901. Yeah, and people are like, but the Federal Reserve. Let's keep going here because you're going to be fascinated. Trust me, you'll be fascinated when I'm done here today. Oops, that's stock market charts you've never seen. I got to look at that too. Let's keep going here. All right, so now let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. Let's get it up. Bow, 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 bow. That guy right there. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this guy, remove from studio, and then we're going to add this guy, image file, right there. We're going to add this screenshot. And what you'll see here is hourly wage for selected industries in the United States in 1901. 23 cents an hour for manufacturing, 28 cents an hour for government work. Look, government work had the most except for finance and real estate. I always kind of find that funny. People are like, oh, the government's so much smaller. They were getting paid more than anybody else except for construction and finance and real estate. It just kind of cracks me up. Then you see flour, 13 cents for 5 pounds of flour. But remember, we weren't spending anything on non-necessities, all right? Milk, 14 cents a half a gallon. Eggs, 22 cents a gallon. All right, so you see all that right there? All right, good. Yes, you do. So we're going to keep going here. Move from studio. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down. And then we're going to go to, I want to show you something here, right here. And here's our necessities right here. Watch this. Oops, not that one. Go to image file right there. There we go. Watch this. So expenditure shares, U.S., New York, and Massachusetts, right here. These are necessities: food, clothing, and housing. Shelter, food, and clothing. We were spending 80% of our income on necessities. Isn't that crazy? 80%. Boston was spending 86% of their income on necessities. 80% of your income was being spent on necessities. Yeah, food was 42% of your expenditures was spent on food. 42%. Remember I showed you the last chart about number of calories you're consuming and how much you're spending on food? You were consuming less calories and spending a hell of a lot more on food. Now we're consuming a lot more calories and spending a whole lot less because a lot of crap is 100%. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? But still, you did not have a lot of disposable income back then, just as an FYI. So when people start saying, oh, man, it sucks in the United States, I'm like, really? Okay. Do you not know what happened in the past? That's in 1901. All right. So let's keep going because I find it fun. And household income, by the way, just back then was household. We had the average household income was $750, and that's in 1901 dollars. And the average expenditures was $769. So people were actually was taking on more debt. They're adding to the debt. Now, I find that interesting. It's like, wow, 1901, the debts or the average family was spending more than they had income. Isn't that interesting? So now what I want to do is I'm going to go fast forward a little bit. We're going to go down to 1930, right? 34 right here. And you're going to start to see something here. You're going to start to see a trend, all right? You see a trend right there. We're going to bring this, we're going to get rid of that, move from stage, and we're going to start to show you. Oh, why do I keep doing that? I'm so used to it. Watch this. You guys want to see someone's going to rock your socks off. All right, so this is 1934, 1936. Average household income is still, creeping up a little bit, but right there you can see it kind of leveled off. Average household expenses leveled off in the midst of the Great Depression. Even though in the midst of the Great Depression, expenditure shares for non-necessities, more disposable income right there, all right? Isn't that interesting? Oh, by the way, we had massive tariffs in 1922. Just keep pointing that out. So more disposable income even during the Great Depression. Average family size was dropping. Look at that. Percent of women in the workforce was growing. Isn't that interesting? That's in 1934. And if we look over here, boing, 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 we're going to see 1934 is right here. I had it written in here. Yeah, average family income was $1,745, which was sorry, that's in New York City. One second, I want to show you right here. Unemployment was 16% in 1931, 20%, and an average more than 20% until 1936, where it dropped to 16.9%. In the 1930s, women made up 22% of the workforce. In the 15-year period following World War I, average family income had remained flat. Interesting. However, let's see. Right here, average family expenditures had risen, but according to the Consumer Expenditure Survey for 1934-1936, 59.2% of families recorded a yearly surplus. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? 59.2% of families in the United States recorded a surplus. Now we had between 15 and 20% unemployment for the whole decade, which is a good. Incomes remained flat. Expenses actually went down because we had deflation. So check this out. The reason I'm bringing this up, I'm starting to wonder if the Great Depression was really as bad as we've been told. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, obviously a lot of people didn't have jobs, but I'm wondering if there's been. I just want to point some out here. Watch this. This just kind of made me very, very interested. I'm starting to wonder if the Great Depression was actually as bad as what we've been led to believe. All right, come up here. Just, image file right there. Check this out. Remember, this is the midst of the Great Depression. And you can see right here, the hourly wages for manufacturing went up from 1918 to 1935. Mining went down. Construction went down. Transportation went up. Communications and public utilities went way up. Trade went way up. Finance went way up. Services went way up. And government went way up. But yet, watch this. Flour went down 9 cents for 5 pounds. Steak went down. Pork chops went down. Bacon went down. Butter went way down. Eggs went way down. And milk went way down. So the wages from 1918 were going up, except for a couple places, and yet the prices were going way down. And remember, we had in 1901, we had deficits. We did not have surpluses of income. I can't remember what it was in 1918. Let me just see here real quick. 1918. In 1918, we did have an excess of income over expenses. We had right here. It's basically pretty close. It's basically broken even. So in 1918, we're basically breaking even income over expenses in the United States as a whole. 1901, we're negative. 1918, we're breaking even. 1935, we had surpluses. Isn't that interesting? Prices were going down, and yes, there was lots of unemployment. I do not deny that. But the people who had a job, which still the vast majority of the people, they didn't see their wages go up, but they saw the prices go down. It just makes you wonder. All right, let's keep going. But now that besides the house went down, let's see here. The expenditure for housing was 32%. All right, housing included expenses for fuel, light, refrigeration. I'm telling you, man, refrigeration was huge. One of the reasons I think the cost of food was going down is because we could store it with the refrigeration. Refrigeration really got big in the 1910s and stuff like that, certainly 1920s when roads were increased and whatnot. And then we had this technology for refrigeration, but 1920s, that was such a big deal, refrigeration. I just find it very interesting because you could store food, whereas before you had to consume it. Isn't that interesting? Food, clothing, and housing still though occupies 76% of a household budget, which was still a decrease of what it was from 1918 and 1919. Isn't that interesting? Or housing issue. Food was significantly down, food was, from what it was in 1918 and 1919 to 1934 and 1935. Remember, food was the biggest expense in Americans' budgets by far up until this point. And now it's dropping. And now food's at 33%, whereas before it was like 42 and 45. A couple of things I attribute it to is the price of food dropping because of deflation and refrigeration. Isn't it? It's crazy, man. Like crazy. So let's keep going. I found that very interesting. 40% of Americans own automobiles. Almost all were purchased secondhand rather than new. Isn't that interesting? We are talking about expenditure for housing was 32%. We talked about already. Seems like a couple of things I wanted to. Average family year come. Family, yeah. Besides exceeding, let's see. Oh, that's New York. I don't care about New York. The slight increase in home ownership went to 30%. So only 30% of the people are actually owning homes back then. Let's see. A pound of bacon, which cost 53 cents in 1918, cost only 29 cents in 1934. Retail prices increased for the first time in 1934, following 4 years of decline. That's crazy. I just find it interesting. All right, now let's go down to 1950s. 1950s. This is interesting. So, because you're going to see the trend, and I don't like this trend. Back then, Sears sold homes. For real? Sears sold homes. That's crazy. Like that, you had to build just like they give you a kit or something like that. All right, so let's now go here. Watch this. We're in 1950. That's 1934. 1934. Right here. So this is where it starts getting really interesting. I'm just wondering if there's some deliberates here because I'm a conspiracy theorist. So I don't trust nobody. So check this out. Fab homes in a catalog. Huh? I get that. Yeah, kit. Yeah. Watch this. This is 1950. So watch the trends you'll start to see now. Average family size way down, way down. Percent of women in the workforce starting to get up higher and higher. All right. Percent of whites starting to drop, and you can't see it, but it'll be down here. I put Redmond sea salt in the water, those electrolytes. Yeah. The development of big ag in the 1950s, switching to an industrial economy, also drove food prices down. Well, one of the reasons that we're eating a lot more empty carbs and stuff and whatnot, empty calories and everything. Yeah, 100%. But with that said, I mean, the facts are we're not starving to death, not at all. Anyway, so you can see the incomes. This isn't a very good graph. It should be logged, but whatever. Starting to rise, the expenses rising, the income's rising, but the family size dropping like that happens to correspond with the women being more and more in the workforce, less and less whites. However, expenditure for non-necessities, look at that. Over 35% of our income is spent on expenditures were spent on non-necessities. Personal care, things of this nature. Isn't that crazy? Whites dropping because all the whites are going for the Asian girls. More snow bunnies for me. That's right. Yeah, white men do love them. Some Asian chicks, that's for sure. That's a fact. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like black dudes like any chick. You know what I'm saying? Black dudes just I don't care if they're chicks, especially if they're heavy. I like them. Whites are very specific. You know what I'm saying? They love Asians. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I love white. Everyone likes white women the most. Yeah, I think everyone does like white women. But it's just I find it funny that the whites have this funny band. Anyway, in 1950, with wages double or triple what they had been in 1935, isn't that crazy? 51% of Americans now own their own home in 1950, and wages were double or triple what they were in 1935. But check this out. This is where it gets even more interesting. Again, I just think we've been sold some freaking falsehood stuff. Watch this. This is 1950. All right, we're going to show you this. Boink. Boink. I just think I just wonder if the Depression is really all that. If all that is what we've been told. I just wonder. I'm supposed to move it. There we go. Boink. This right here. So here's 1950. Manufacturing wages went from 58 cents an hour to 159 in 1935 to 1950. 55 to 166 for mining. Construction 49 to 160. Transport, you can see all that. All that. Huge increases in wages. Retail prices, while they went up, not nearly to the extent of what they did for jobs. So I did right here. Retail prices went average from 1901 to 1950. They averaged an increase in 2.69% for flour. Manufacturing wages averaged 3.94. 4.1 was transportation. The average increase in transportation wages was 4.1% in those 50 years. Pork chops was 3.88%. Isn't that interesting? 2.17% was the increase here for milk. And yet the lowest we had was here. Finance and insurance was average 2.29%. So if you look en masse, the wages way outgrew the prices of food. Isn't that interesting? As such, we spent less and less on food sources, which was number one before. That was our biggest expenditure before was food. If we actually go back here, you can see right here, 1950, expenditure share for non-necessities was growing significantly because we had less expense on food, and food was the number one expense in the previous ad. Anyway, so let's keep going because this. If I come here, yeah, I want to show you guys something here. We go down here, boink, 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 and we're gonna see right here, boink, boink, boink. All right, we're gonna come right here, and then we're gonna go over here. All right, look at me. I'm just like a crafty old veteran at this stuff, man. Remove. Whites like small feet. Do they? Whites like small feet. There we go. So image files. So check this out. All right. So here, expenditure share for the United States. Food is now down to less than 30% of the expenditure of our food. Like, look at that. Clothing is still at 11.5, but we have 31% was other. That's non-necessities. I would settle for clean feet with no boils. No boils. So housing is 27% of the cost. Food is down to 29, and clothing. These are still the top three. Isn't that interesting? Clothing, food, and shelter. Very interesting, Josh. I do agree. So let's keep. That was in 1950. Let's keep going. So we see that wages are going up rapidly relative to prices. Halfway through the U.S. 20th century, the U.S. economy was expanding. Household income increased by 178% since 1934 1936. Interesting. Household expenditures for necessities had declined to 68%. Interesting. Home ownership had increased with almost 50% of people having their own homes. All right, so now let's go to 1960, where it gets a little bit interesting. Male participation rates are declining in 1960s, all right? So male participation rates are down to 83.3%, where women, on the other hand, are making up, make up 32% of the workforce. So we see male participation rates declining, women participation rates increasing. Here we had an average family size, a little bit of a bump because of baby boomers, but not much. The average family size had increased slightly from 3 to 3.1. And 87.4% of families, both a husband and wife, were present. 87.4. Interesting. The expenditure share for non-necessity was almost 38%. I just find this very interesting. The percentage of whites is starting to drop off. The percentage of women in that workforce is growing. So now we have a third of the workforce is women, and men are in the workforce are dropping. Still had 87.4% of families had a husband and a wife in there. Interesting. Family size in this case did creep up a little bit, but not much. Average family income was at $6,690, which was 58% higher than it was in 1950. Average expenditures had increased 41% from what it was in 1950. So you're starting to see something here. The incomes are growing higher than the expenditures. Why are the incomes growing? Because I showed you about the wages. The wages are growing much higher than the cost of goods were. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah, right there. For the first time since 1901, a shift in the relative importance of expenditures had taken place. Housing, which included shelter, furnishings, utilities, and operational costs, had become the largest expense in American families at 29.5. Food now was in second place at 24%, followed by clothing at third at 10.4. Families spent proportionally less for food despite rising retail prices. 1 pound of round steak costs $1.06, which is up 12 cents from 1950. So it's up about 15% from 15 years previously. Noteworthy is the increase in the average family's charitable giving. It went from doubled from 1950. Isn't that interesting? Sure is, Josh. Sure is. Let's keep going here. I find this very interesting. We're going to see a couple things. Wages had increased sharply throughout the country, as evidenced by the over 60% increase in hourly earnings of manufacturers and mining workers. What does that tell you? Prices had only increased moderately, with the cost of we were talking about a 5-pound bag of flour rising from 49 cents in 1950 to 55 cents in 1960. Housing expenditures replaced food as the biggest share of the budget. Yep. Well, more than half of U.S. families are homeowners. Half of U.S. families are homeowners. And you can see the average income per family dwarfs the average expenditures per family. While food was no longer the largest expenditure category, households were spending more, one of every $5 eating away from home, more disposable income they could spend. So even though they're still spending on food, a lot of it was to go out to eat. Spending for personal care products, healthcare, reading, education, and entertainment consisted of a larger and larger share of expenditures. Interesting. So now let's go to 1972 and 1973. The labor force participation for men had dropped to 78%, while women's participation rate is at 44.7%. Women now made up 36% of the overall workforce. Let's see. The average family income in the U.S. was $11,000, but after taxes, it was only $9,700. Average household expenses were $8,300. All right, this sum would have let's see. Of total spending on housing, the average U.S. household allocated 51% for shelter. 51% of their expenditures were for shelter. 58.8% of Americans own their own home. I'll show you a couple of charts on this here in just a second. Let's see. With the estimated market, consumers continue to eat away from home. The average U.S. household allocated 72% of their food expenditures for food at home, but 26% for eating away from home. Interesting. The average family spent more than half their clothing on women. Men only got 28% of the spending on garments, and children got the rest. So women got more than half the expenditures on clothing, the 25% to women, the children, and 25% to men, essentially. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I absolutely think so. It's like women are, gotta get the clothes. Men are like, I don't care. That's why I always say men travel light. We just don't need that much. Men are like, not too bad. Okay. Using the same old crap old t-shirt doesn't bother me in the least. Doesn't bother me in the least. And you can see right here, expenditure, I'll just show you. Blink. That's 1960. Gotta go to 1970. There we go. I want to do this one. Right. This is where it starts getting very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, so check this out. Image file. All right, right there. I was one of 7 kids, a lot of hand-me-downs, 100%, man, 100%. Workforce participation is at an all-time low now. Yes, it is. Women can't wear their shirts inside out. Yeah, they could. Anyway, so what you'll see here is the amount spent on non-necessities is the highest it's been right here. We're talking 45% of our income spent on non-necessities right here. Average family size, again, is going down. Percent of women in the workforce is going up. Percent of whites is going down. Very interesting. We're starting to see, again, we're going back to the trend. Whites are declining. Women in the workforce are increasing. Expenditures on non-necessities are going up. Family size is going down. And if you were a conspiracy theorist like me, you say, well, that doesn't bode well for families, does it? Let's see. Well, so hourly wages for select industries. I just want to point some out here. Blink. And here is when the rubber, in my opinion, hits the road. Right here. Here is when the scumbags say, you know something? We got to do something about this. We got to do something about this. Right there. Average wage. Manufacturing went from $257 an hour to $392. Mining went from $273 to $445. Construction, you can see it all. You can see it all. The wages increased significantly. The retail prices of foods in 1970 didn't go up that much, but the wages went up a lot. The wages went up a lot relative to prices. This is in 1970. Very interesting. And if we go down to the shifts towards spending on cars, recreation, medical, and personal care continued. We had more disposable income because we had women in the workforce and less families. And I don't say how many families had a husband and wife in there, but it was less. Rising incomes had permitted more people to buy homes in the suburbs and purchase cars. Throughout the economies, the country, local and regional economies had begun to shift away from manufacturing and into services such as trade, education, healthcare, and government. I absolutely think what it is. Remember, 1974, 1972, at 74, I think, when Nixon went to China. I absolutely think what happened is the capitalist in America said, we can't afford these wages anymore. We got to find a way to cut back on wages. We can't afford them. We got to cut back on wages, which means we have to have some cheap labor so we can profit, because we're not making enough profits. I absolutely believe this. They went to China, and China said, with the Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, China, and all this. They said, can you manufacture our goods for us for basically slaves? Your economies are slaves. And what's the name? Freaking Mao said, sure. I've already killed a bunch of people while, making other people hurt doesn't bother me because I'm a scumbag commie. And as such, we're losing now men in the workforce, increasing women in the workforce. We're losing our manufacturing, shift from manufacturing into trade, education, healthcare, and government. Now, trade isn't dominated by women, but certainly education, healthcare, and government certainly is going. Well, government not yet, but it would be absolutely. Well, at least government is going to be more representative of women than the trade for sure, manufacturing, other than in these things. 100%. And they said, hey, if more women go into the workforce, we can encourage more disposable discretionary spending. Have less kids, spend more, have freaking marriages that have two incomes in there. And that's going to hurt the family unit. And it absolutely did. And so we're going to get rid of men bringing home the bacon, fried up in a pan. Never let you forget you're a man. You see, Virginia Slims, a woman. That's Virginia Slims, the chick, the freaking, the woman who's a working woman. I could bring up the bacon, fried up in the pan. You had to get your pork chop. Yeah, my wife had, there's 9 of them. You know what I'm saying? So when their parents brought home a box of cereal, it was gone in 60 seconds. We always ate at home too. 7 kids around the dinner table with 2 parents leading the charge. It was the best, 100%. Marriage rates and child birth rates are all-time low as well. All by design. I completely agree with that. Because they said we can't get as much profits as we need to by paying these Americans to do manufacturing jobs. Now they'll justify it, say, well, Americans didn't like those jobs anyway. You can see videos of people on YouTube about people like, I don't want to go to work in a factory. It sucked. You know what I'm saying? Dude, millions and millions of people throughout the history of mankind have had jobs that sucked. 100%. Having a job that sucked isn't indicative of just America in the 1960s and 50s. Or even the beginning parts of the 1970s. Everyone's had jobs that sucked at some point. And sometimes you grin and bear it. But so they say, oh, no, we're going to send those jobs because Americans don't want to do these overseas, do it for cheap, and that will give us more disposable income. And it's funny thing is, too, so we got rid of all the manufacturing jobs. And you say, okay, so now Americans are much more happier in their jobs? And the answer is no. Even though they're more education, healthcare, and government, more white-collar jobs, they're not happier in their jobs. That's just a fact. I had a sucky job before, 100%. And it's just a freaking, what job doesn't suck? My job doesn't suck. I like my job, 100%. But I had to freaking, do 25, I don't know how many years. I mean, I've been working since I was like 12. You know what I'm saying? I've had to do crappy jobs for, all the time. You just grin and bear it. I just find it interesting. Well, the manufacturing jobs sucked. Americans don't want to do them. Like, oh, so Americans are happy in their jobs now? No, but, at least they get air conditioning. Crazy. And they all kiss my ass. You can see it a mile away. It's a plan by design to get women out of the home, into the workforce, less children, more disposable income, so people can find happiness in buying crap as opposed to happiness in what Ted was talking about. Here's happiness right here. 7 kids around the dinner table with 2 parents leading the charge is the best. We need to stop that, and we need to have Ted, freaking touchdown Ted there, go out and freaking gamble at the casino in Vicksburg, Mississippi. That'd be funner and then more fun. And Ted says, this sucks. And it's like, well, too late now. Mostly targeted women. I can bring all the bacon, fried up the pan. I got Virginia Slims. I don't need a man. Who the hell? All this freaking crap. Construction paid well. So the suck was easy to deal with. And now I worked in a chicken factory for like 3 months. Oh, dude, I 100%. I love my job. It just got to be time miss the people, not the work. I'm sure you are sick of us sometimes and don't want to make videos. No, dude, no, not at all. I love making videos. I'm not. No, you guys are freaking crushing. I love you guys. I get a bunch of fools on here. So, like one guy posted, I think I already said this about you got to talk about the difference between nominal and real inflation. What did he say? I can't remember. I was like, dude, I get it sometimes, but I just laugh. I tell my wife, it's like, I like to troll some of these idiots. She goes, I said, well, some guy on LinkedIn, they got mad at me for saying, what the hell did I say on LinkedIn? Oh, no, it was on X. I was called a Zionist shill. I said, me? A Zionist shill? Because Tucker Carlson interviewed this idiot lady, some idiot, George Stephanopoulos' sister or something like that with a mustache, who's a Hamas apologist. And it was just Tucker did himself no favors. It was a bad interview. Hamas is scumbags. They should all be sent to the gallows for sure. And someone had posted, what's the guy's name? Eric Metaxas, a big Christian guy, goes, so she said something about not only is she a liar, she's ugly too. And I said, yeah, and she's ugly in the inside and out. And all these people are like, oh, you Zionist chill. I can't believe you're commenting on her looks. Oh, you freaking, you're going to burn in hell because what Israel's doing, blah, 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 blah. I said, dude, I don't like Israel and I can't stand Hamas. All right. As much as I don't like Israel, I like Hamas even less, if that makes sense. Hamas can go pound sand. Christian population, Tucker, is growing in Israel. The Christian population in Gaza is not growing. Now, you could say because Israel has killed all the Christians. No, there's no evidence. I mean, yes, I agree to some regard, but the facts are the Muslims are driving them out. So let's stop this freaking shenanigans that Israel is just as evil as Hamas. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, is Israel doing evil genocide? Absolutely, 100%. I get it. And there's still lots of questions to be asked about what the hell happened October 7th. Did a net not? I was listening to my man Viva Frey. I could not believe this. I was like, damn, Viva Frey used to be a pretty big kind of a Canadian lib back before COVID. And he said, what the hell did Netanyahu do? What did he do? Because there's no way that October 7th happened without some either the knowledge of it happened or just a complete breakdown. But it's kind of like, we don't know anything. Remember how they promoted all the anytime a white guy, that Dylan Roof guy, they showed his manifesto, but they didn't show the freaking chick who shot up those people at Christian school. We still don't know anything about the guy who shot Trump. We still don't know anything about the Las Vegas shooter. We know very little about the Oklahoma City stuff. You see what I'm saying? Isn't it interesting? Anyway, so Viva Frey is like, how come we don't know anything about the origins of October 7th? How come we don't know anything? What the hell? I said, because either they knew it and they didn't do anything, or they're in on it. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong. And Israel was the excuse for Netanyahu to stay in office and now go desecrate Gaza. That's just a fact of what's happening. But because pointing that out doesn't mean you like Hamas. I freaking hate Hamas. Let them all swing. Let them all swing. But that doesn't mean I'm a Zionist shill either. It's crazy. Anyway, I was telling my wife, I saw these people, and she goes, why do you like this? It's fun. It's fun to troll these people because they're idiots. It's fun. Hey, Jeremy, headed to the Philippines this weekend, man. Right on. Josh should team up with Aaron. She's been teaming up with James Cannoli. I don't know who that is. Josh should team up with Aaron. I noticed that some of the Y tiers are teaming up now. Yeah, I could handle email talking to Aaron. I always like talking to chicks, not gonna lie, especially in my business. I find it I like women. I mean, that's just a fact. I like talking to, like, I don't really care what a man's take is on financial planning because I've been around men in financial planning for almost 3 decades now. I just don't care that much. There's a couple guys I enjoy talking to and stuff. Generally speaking, I just don't care. Women I find different because they have a different perspective. It's kind of like estate planning attorneys. I've always in my career, women estate planning attorneys have been better than men. I've dealt with a lot of estate planning attorneys. And again, this is very broad brush. The women have been better. My own estate planning attorney, Allison, is better than I had one up in Virginia, Aaron Lehman, and one down here in Georgia, Allison. I'm drawing a blank what her last name is. I see her picture in front of me. I've talked to many estate planning attorneys, and in my opinion, women are better estate planning attorneys. And I think it is because more matriarchal. They're better listeners. They're better able to see the family dynamics than a man. A man wants to go in there and say, this is how we got to do it. This is how we save taxes, blah, blah, blah. And a woman wants to go in there and say, what's going on behind the scenes? I like that. And so I don't care. I don't know who James Cannoli is. I don't know who he is. I don't care. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't know anything about him, but I always like the women's perspective a little bit more because they manage the household finances a lot of times in terms of the day to day. Not me. I mean, I pay the checks on that, but when it comes to going to the grocery, getting everything in order, it's my wife does all that. He said nominal inflation. Yeah, that's what it was. She has real pearly whites. Josh team up with Susie Orlin would be funny. I don't. I just not that interested in talking to financial planners anymore. I mean, again, a chick would be one thing, but a dude just doesn't do much for me. I hate to say it. It's all going to plan. Oh, you think that's bad? Check this out. Maybe Sarasota Tim from the county jail. Was that dude in jail? No way. Sarasota, nah, you're not. Is that what? No, I is he even still? I don't know anything. He hasn't popped up on YouTube feed in a long time. All right, so now let's just wrap all this up with what's going on now, shall we? Because this is where it gets very suspicious. He's a California wealth advisor. Ari Tablib is part of this channel as well. Ari Tablib. I don't know anything about any of these guys. A California wealth advisor. Don't know. I know. I see a couple younger guys that have CFP next to me. It's like, damn, they're getting crazy views. Like, what did they do to freaking Susan Wiki Wiki? R.I.P. I grant you, but what kind of money they send to Susie Wiki Wiki? I'm just joking. Am I going to be getting together with J.O.? No, I haven't. Not necessarily. I haven't really thought about it. Forget collaboration. Do this lone wolf with an occasional guest. That's what I don't want to. 100%. Craig is real, so I'll bring back on here. I do want to bring Craig back on at the. He probably has this first half results up for his website, Retirement Planning and Analyzer. I like talking to economists. I like talking to professors and whatnot. James Cannoli is pretty informational. Is that a good thing? I don't understand. Is that a good thing? I'm not sure. It sounds like it's a good thing. Pretty informational. If he's giving good stuff, that's fantastic. I have no idea who this guy is. So I'm not bagging. If you're James Cannoli, you're watching this, I don't know who you are. You're probably a great guy. Yes, I like him, says Penelope. He must have pearlier whites than me. I bet Penelope says he never wears his shirt on backwards, by the way. And he takes me seriously. I'm like, Josh. What point do you think it makes sense to talk to a financial planner or advisor? Well, the fact that you're asking, it probably makes sense. They only take accounts over $2 million. Who's that? Oh, that James Cannoli guy and Ari Talibi, whatever his name is. Yeah, I have two independent. In fact, one of the things that always kind of concerns me is I'm pretty controversial. I would think I'd be concerned by if someone else attached their name to me. I think, to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of doing Amar a favor. I don't think he realizes it, but you don't want to be attached to me, Amar. That's my thing right there. Is there's a couple comments on there. Amar, I can't believe you're talking to Josh and stuff like that. I just, I'm not going to put. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to hide my controversial takes on things. So the fact I'll go for whatever team has the most white guys. I'm not going to hide that. But I get. So I always get not nervous, but I wonder are people going to, I've had interviewed two people now that I interviewed at they both wanted their videos taken down because it was one guy, some clown up in Nashville, and then Jeff Pearlman. We're emailing back. I freaking love Jeff Pearlman. The guy's just a sports knowledge. His history is just. I watch he does a new video every day, every Monday, and this is 4 years ago. I said, "Hey man, I'd like to interview you about your USFL book." Blah 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 blah. And I said, I just want you to know I do support Trump, even though I can't stand that he broke the USFL. And he said, I'm not going to interview you. Anyone who supports Trump, I don't want to talk to or something like that. He might be different now. I don't know. That was during the midst of COVID when everyone's scared of their shadows. Like, oh my goodness, it's all going to die. But that's in some ways I've kind of been taken aback to some regard, like reaching out to people. Like, do you want to attach yourself to me? Given that I am controversial, I don't care. You don't have to. I don't care. I just like talking to people that have an interest that I like, you know what I'm saying? But that the thing, someone had said that about Aaron too. I said, because she does come up on my feed on occasion, which is weird because I don't really watch these videos. I don't watch hardly any financial plan. I watch sports videos. I watch heavy metal videos. I like the guy, Professor Rock, Rick Beato. I watch, Mark Dice, Clay Travis, Jason Whitlock, Steven Crowder. I watch those guys. Every now and again, I watch a Candace Owens. I watch Tucker, Tucker, that one with that stupid chick, dude, that really bothered me. This supposed nun apologizing for Hamas. She can kiss my big fat behind. I don't trust her as far as I could kick her, and it looks like I couldn't kick her very far either. If you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I watch some controversial things, but generally speaking, what was I don't watch hardly any financial stuff. Yeah, maybe I should. It seemed like I was watching something the other day. It was pretty interesting. Who was that? I said a couple comments on there, so that was pretty good. Forgot who that was. I said that's a good episode, man. Yeah. Hey, I just found this guy today. Pretty cool. This guy is what's his name? I like music stuff and I like storytelling. Bad Brad, right here. This guy's pretty cool. He's a guitarist in Nashville. He's saying it's almost impossible to live on $300 gigs anymore. But he says, Sunset Strip regrets the dark side of the 80s hair metal and my LA rock experience. I said, that's pretty cool. And he says, exposing the pay-to-play scam in Nashville. Grunge didn't kill the Sunset Strip, someone else did. These are the kind of videos I like quite a bit. Modern bands suck, he says. Rockstar curse exposed. Ooh. Where's the money? The gigs over the truth about getting paid in music. Yeah, that's kind of stuff. I like that. No money, no honey. The realities of rocking the Sunset Strip. Oh man, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I like that stuff. Who else I watch? Let's see. There's that's pretty much it, I guess. Marcellus Wiley I watch on occasion. This chick right here. She's freaking. First of all, she's smoking hot. This chick right there. I love her. Man, she is smoking hot. Her name's Carmen JC, and Mark Dice mentioned her one time. And Black Dysfunction is collapsing Chicago. Yeah, she's great. Man, that is a gorgeous chick right there, dude. Oh goodness. Oh my god. Not Owen. I don't really watch Owen Benjamin that much anymore. But I just don't. I don't have anything wrong with him. It just frankly starts to bore me after a while. My man Gavin McInnes, I like him. I watch him on occasion. Who else? That was pretty. Let's see. Forgotten '80s band. Yeah, basically. Ooh, yeah. So you can see like a lot of the transition of how thrash metal became death metal. I like a lot of that stuff. Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway. Netanyahu deputy arrested in Vegas child predator sting, says Jimmy Dore. Ooh, that's interesting. Anyway. I watch some baseball stuff. Got some baseball stuff right here. Here's When It Was a Game, HBO. It's a pretty good series. All right. So what else am I gonna say? Forget. Yeah. So Lone Wolf. I like the YouTube channel, the Y Files. The Y Files. What's that? Dude, this better not be some Filipino trans thing, Jeremy, because someone said this chick is on some show, and I was like, yeah, she's decent looking. And it turned out to be a freaking Filipino dude, and I was like, oh god, dude, what the hell? Oh, the Wi-Fi, that was pretty good. The end of Silva. Ooh, I like it. CIA classified book about the pole shift mass extinctions. Blah blah blah. Tesla knew the secret of the Great Pyramid. Oh, 12 million views. Damn, look at that. I like it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't watch much of this. I'm kind of beyond my conspiracy thing now. I mean, everything's conspiracy. The Filipino PEA. The Filipino PEA. Oh, is that the dude that's a chick? I also enjoy the Y Files. It's very interesting. See, some of the problems with these videos, though, it's hard to get honey, even with money. Girls nowadays have unreal expectations. 100%. But some of these videos, so you got to like pay attention. And generally speaking, that's why I like sports, because it's just kind of in the background. It's not really all that. Where some of these videos, you got to like pay attention. That's one of the reasons I stopped listening to Owen Benjamin. So I can't just have him on the background because he's going in depth on stuff like Stephen Hawkins, the faker that he was and stuff. I was like, oh man, I can't have it on the background. So for me, because I'm always doing something else, if I have a YouTube thing on the back, it's got to be something light, like sports and music, stuff like that. Lady Boys Are All Over Bangkok. That's freaking nasty, dude. I don't get it. Can you imagine? I don't get it. Obviously, you don't even know who James Cannoli is. Wow, says Penelope. You can get Rachel Cruz on. Isn't that Ted? Not Ted Cruz. What's the guy's name? Dave Ramsey and his daughter or something like that. You don't even know. I'd really let Penelope down. Scap Attack. Yeah, I like Scap Attack. Yeah, I do, dude. Don't mess with Scap Attack when it comes to going after Kobe Bryant. Just this guy knows everything about everything. It's crazy. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, Scap Attack is, and he doesn't pull punches. You see him? He was on with some professional basketball player, and he was just with I think it was with Whitlock. He was just going crazy on him. I was like, damn, Scap Attack. It blistered the guy. I was like, holy crap. Yeah, Scap Attack crushes, man. He's actually over the top sometimes. I'm like, damn, dude, relax. Penelope says, you don't even know who James Cannoli is. I bet James Cannoli doesn't know who Penelope is, huh? I'm going to go on James Cannoli said, Penelope said you're pretty. He's going, who else Penelope? I said, yeah, I told you, Penelope. Scorpions, other than the zoo, Scorpions, they don't do much for me. They're all kind of, it's just, I liked No One Like You. That's a pretty good song, but, the freaking Rock You Like a Hurricane, horrible. The freaking one they did after the wall fell or something like that is stupid. I do like the zoo. There's a couple good songs on that album that comes off the zoo, but everything else they just suck, dude. I'm sorry. Old man with a cane. Old man with a cane. I hope you know what that's in reference to. There was a guy on YouTube, but I'm sure he's still here. Old man with a cane. Erin is pretty bright. I enjoy Erin too. Yeah, she seems all right. The young guys I see in my feed are probably them, says Christopher. James and Ari, Root Financial. They're in their 30s, but look like they just graduated high school. It probably is. Yes, Right Capital is working very well with the Big Beautiful Bill upgrades. Root Capital. Whatever happened to my man Big Al? Is he still out there? Big Al, you know what I'm talking about? I think Erin's. Oh, dude, I love single mom. I don't mean like that. If Erin's a single mom, that's freaking legendary. If someone can confirm that, that's great. You got nothing with Laura Tynan. Who the hell is that? I'll look her up. James and I are BFFs, Josh. Oh, James. Remember, Penelope's like 68 or something like that. So James is probably her son. Penelope's last name is Cannoli. James, Penelope's like here promoting James. Says, I got to promote my son. Let's see. Laura Tynan. I don't know who that is. Laura, but I'm always interested in a hot lady. Tynan. Who is that? Tynan. Let's see. There's lately some blonde chick is showing up in my older blonde chick showing up on my YouTube feed. Erin's married. Erin's husband is in the military. Last I heard, something has changed. Yeah, she's all right, but I mean, yeah, she didn't do much. I mean, I get it. She's all right. I'm not yelling at her or anything like that. I just had some blonde chick showing my feed. I was like, who's? It's just weird how some people just show up in your feed. Let me guess. Erin's husband's in the Navy. You know what I'm saying? Erin's pretend like she has a boyfriend, but he's in the Navy, so we know. You know what I'm saying? Talk about our kid, no wedding ring. Yeah, one thing me and a couple guys on LinkedIn were going back and forth on a good way is that CFP is the Board of Standards is trying to make it that you can't be a financial advisor or financial planner or something like that unless you have a college degree. And we all think it's bull crap. And I said, and at the same time, promoting diversity. It's like, yeah, so let's just go ahead and tell single moms that they can't be in our business. How about that? You freaking clowns. That ticked me off. That's not Rain. Who the hell's Rain? The Lord Tinus. So you like the, she looks like she's somewhat Spanish in some regard. Or maybe, I don't know about Spanish. Maybe Italian. She looks like she's Italian. Yeah, suddenly a song popped in my head about the Navy. Exactly. Yeah. All right. So anyway, let me follow up with this thing. You guys are getting. Anytime you start talking about chicks, I got to go down that path because this is basically, other than Penelope, I think Marie might be gone here too. It's basically a helmet fest. So let's just admit that we're all here to. It's like a locker room chat, is what it is. So Penelope, this is how the boys talk in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? On YouTube for anyone in the world to see. It's just like PTs now. You have to doctor it. It's just an extra year tuition for nothing. Yeah, 100%, dude. It's so freaking stupid. They're not trying to be diverse. They're trying to be a barrier to entry is what it is. They all kiss my butt. All right, so anyway, let's just close this one up. I'm going to go watch North and South of my better half. So watch this. Oops, hold on a second. Watch this, amigos. And here is where the rubber hits the road. You ready? And tell me this isn't part of a conspiracy. Right here. When I say conspiracy, that just means people getting together to promote something. That's all it is. People are like, hey, conspiracy? Oh, really, Josh? Like, getting together. The offense is conspiring when they have a huddle to call the next play. That's a conspiracy. Have a good weekend, says Harry. See you, man. See you, Harry. I will. Be chilling like a villain. Penelope start with talk about Aaron. Exactly. So here you can see expenditures for non-necessities, about 50%. But see how it's leveling off? Expenditures for non-necessities, about 50%. Loss of disposable income, and what can that be attributed to? Look at this, almost identical to the number of women in the workforce, which happens to correspond with a drop in the family size, which happens to correspond with there's Marie. I look at financial planning channels. If their videos over 15 minutes, I say, just get to the topic. Josh has spoiled me. I used to do long videos too. Now I don't. I try to keep them under 10. I have a sneaky suspicion that your old buddy Josh could ramble too long. And here's for a laugh. Right on, Clint. Clint, you're all right, man. I know you always come through. Appreciate it. I hope I was making it. I hope you were able to laugh at this freaking cluster. But yeah, if I see a video over 20 minutes, I don't watch it. That's weird, man. YouTube knows what they're doing. 8 to 10 minutes is where you should be. And I look back at and I said, man, how did I even get a channel that has 88,000 people on or something like that? I don't know with those long ass videos, but because if I'm like this, where I got YouTube on the back as while I'm doing something else, I have to assume other people are like that as well. And if other people are like that as well, the last thing I want to hear is some guy yapping for 30 minutes. And look, I beat around. I mean, what's the word? Beat around the bush. Don't beat around. Whatever it is. I wander off. I get it, but I try to keep them lower. Start and you'll be rolling in it. Yeah, I just don't know how you can do a short for freaking financial planning stuff. I still dislike Holy Schmidt. Yeah, I think I've seen a couple. I don't dislike. I'm agnostic about him. Kind of bored me, but that's just me. See you, Harry. What was I getting ready to say? Oh, but man, what is this? Oh, anyways, just look right here. So the size of the family going down. It doesn't say here, but the male participation is going way down. The women participation is going way up. The average income is going way up in terms of non-discretionary expenditures, and the numbers of whites going way down. I just think it's very interesting that people can't put 2 and 2 together here. Expenditures of non-necessities, and yet people think I have to have my wife working, or else we won't be able to buy stuff. And the necessities are housing, food, and shelter. That's what the necessities are. You like why the diss on Schmidt? I didn't say I didn't like him. My man here. Well, because look, Asians they don't hide what their feelings. That's what I like with Asians. They'll tell you like it is. Penelope, just say who you don't like. Penelope's like, I like him. I like him. I like him. People are gonna put on here Dave Ramsey. Penelope, I like him too. Anyway, I found this very interesting. So as we can see now, just close this up. With the various charts, I don't vibe with his presentation. Nothing against him. Oh, too late. You said you couldn't stand him. But I just find this very interesting. So what happened was we got rid of the manufacturing. We got rid of a lot of that blue collar jobs, and then we increased the amount of women in the workforce. And just watch real quick on this right here. We got rid of the number of families. The size of the families. We don't have remember we had 89% of men and women in a family unit were together. And now it's not even anywhere near that. It's all designed to break up the family, give you more disposable income so you can be, you can say, I'm going to pleasure myself with my spending power. The dopamine rush I get from spending money is much, much, much more than I get from having children or being a part of a family unit. And the men too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you can see right here. Food now is only 15% of what we spend money on. Let's see. Apparel is down to 6%. 6%. So it used to be food, housing, and apparel were the top three. And only 80% of the stuff we were spending money on went to those three things. And now food is 15%, housing is 30%, apparel is 6%, transportation is 20%. Transportation is 20%. Healthcare is 5%, entertainment's 5%. Isn't that interesting? Personal insurance and pensions are 8.6%. It wasn't used to be like that. And you can see up here, non-discretionary spending right there, 48.6%. Pets are now replacing kids 100%, man. 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, right on, man. I've always said if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to just be a boring ass mofo. I'm always going to not hide my politics, not hide, the fact that I don't really prep for any of this crap. I just say, all right, because I've been doing this for so long, man. I mean, I'm not saying I'm so smart or anything like that, but I've a what's the word? A level of knowledge in this stuff because I've been doing this since 1998. You know what I'm saying? If you read enough, at some point you can have a basic level of knowledge that you can just pull off your head without having to think about it. But Lionel, I don't know who Lionel is. Lionel, what's the name? Lionel Nation. Lionel is a hoot. Give a hoot, don't pollute. Give a hoot, don't pollute. All right, that's all I got, man. That's a growth value hedge plus MLS with a 40% downside protection. All right. Sounds a little bit too complex for this old caveman. I'm not that fond of burger, kind of dry. All right. I like Joe Kuhn. Yeah, right on. Moynihan, Dem, by the way, Dem. Got to write his book. The root cause of breakdown of black family and black crime is no father at home. And that's what we're seeing now with the whites too. But all the time, king, at least is Devin. The all-time king, at least with Social Security. Yeah, Devin crushes. 100%. All right, amigos, and go watch North and South. It's not about the Civil War. It's about 1850s England. A time period, what they're called. I like those shows because maybe I should have been in the Navy. But I do very much enjoy those shows, the old 1850s. So if you guys got some 1800 shows, I'd be happy. Stop sharing. Just do this. Oh, there you go. It's like hanging on a bar bullshitting about life, a bit of financial. Yeah, exactly. Cool with me? Right on. Are you just a caveman? Just a caveman. I don't get your ways. A chick show, I get it. Yes, a chick show, exactly. But it's fun. I like that stuff. I love the 1850s. I love that kind of the 1800s, the latter part of the 1800s. I like, and for the signed off, you guys get one, Mr. Pablo J. Scanlon. You can watch Downton Abbey was all right. I didn't get too much into that. It was a little bit too scripted for me. There's one Pablo J. Scanlon who I went to go get some pizza. My wife went to go get some pizza for Liam, and Pablo went up to our room. He said, "No one's here." And he just proceeded to take a leak right on our carpet because he said, "I'm going to get you guys for leaving me." Isn't that right, Pablo? Did you take a leak right on the carpet? Yes, you did. Gone for 2 seconds. He took a leak. Snaggletooth, exactly. Look at him. Gone for 2 seconds. He said, "Dad, you're going to leave me? I'm taking a leak right on your carpet in your bedroom." Good job there, guy. Snaggletooth. Read the Pablo's CFP. Right on, man. Yeah, no matter what Penelope, she goes, "I like all these other guys. They don't have a Pablo." All right, Penelope. Josh is into those powdered wigs. Exactly. Pablo's acting out. Exactly. I'm into the powdered wings because I have a powdered wig actually. That's I'm with the civil engineer. I tested with AI engineering questions. Right there. I'm in the civil engineering business, and I tested with AI with engineering questions. The only AI that got correct was Chat GPT S5. All the rest are wrong. Even Chat GPT 4 is wrong. Crazy. All right. I'm going to get out of here. God bless. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. See you later, alligators. Toodaloo, kangaroo.